Hey guys, so today's video we are going to be going over VWAP, and VWAP is another indicator. This is probably going to be the last indicator I go over for a little bit. You guys know about candlesticks. You know how a candlestick works. You know how how to draw a trend line. And next video I will be going over starting with price action. So today we're going to be learning about VWAP. I really like VWAP. If I could tell you guys to use one indicator, it would definitely be VWAP. This is basically the only indicator I use. And if you look at this line right now, you can already tell where could you have entered a trade using this yellow line. Exactly, right here. So do you see how the candles bounce off this line? Basically, VWAP is the volume weighted average price. So it means like that depending on the volume, it's like where the price will always be the most average. So basically, I don't know how to explain that in more complicated terms, but basically all you need to know is because it's the volume weighted average price, that means if the price is super high, it's likely to come down to VWAP in the near future. And if it's really below VWAP, like right here, it's likely to go back up to VWAP as we see right here in the future. So it's kind of acts like a magnet, and with VWAP, people can usually play bounces, or they usually can play the downside to VWAP. So they can play rejections, or they could, if it falls through VWAP, they might buy it. So if we go to Google, I'm gonna look at VWAP. So VWAP indicator, just to give you guys a better picture of this. So so there was a chart that I've seen before that I really like. Where is it? So I'll go to this chart. So actually no, right here. Actually I can't find it right now. Alright, so right here. So we see in this picture, it says VWAP is acting as a resistance line. And do you see how this rejects? So that's when it's resistance. And then after the retracement, if the price doesn't break VWAP, you can look for shorting opportunity. So that's saying if it doesn't close above VWAP, you can look for a rejection candle. So say this red candle right here, and you can look for a downside play, like shorting or buying puts. And if we go to this one, we see it breaks out over the VWAP right here. So that's a buy signal. And then when this is under VWAP, basically when it's under VWAP, it's bearish, and when it's over VWAP, it's bullish. So that's what you want to know. But price usually always retraces back to the VWAP. But that is what you want to know about VWAP. So let's go over some examples. So we see this example, and do you see how this red candle closes under VWAP? With the ETFs and some other indexes, there's something called algorithms and basic and market makers, and there's a lot of unknown stuff about market makers or whatever, but I usually don't worry about them too much. But basically they can manipulate the price, and so often people set stop losses. We talked about stop losses. Remember when we went over order types, we talked about setting a stop losses. And maybe I'll make I'll probably do a stop loss video next video, actually, because I feel like we need to cover that. So people will set stop losses under VWAP because usually if the candle closes under VWAP, that's where they set their stop losses. And the market makers know this, so sometimes they will bring the price under VWAP and stop people out and then shoot it right back up. And as you can see, that's something they did here. So you just want to be aware of that, and maybe set your stop loss a little more under the VWAP than you think. Don't set it right under the VWAP, but make sure you have and if you know candlestick patterns, which we'll go over in the future, these are 3 hammers. This is very, very bullish and is definitely primed for reversal. I'll teach you guys about hammer patterns in the future. So you could definitely, because you could use the VWAP and the hammers to know that this was very bullish right here. So let's go to a couple more examples. So this is the VWAP on Facebook. So we see Facebook open today. It pops right to 230. Look at it, bounces off VWAP perfectly, goes up again, bounces off again, doesn't close under VWAP, and usually I will be bearish if it closes under in the 5-minute. But like I said, wait for confirmation because it could just be to stop people out. So right here again, we see this close under view up, but this isn't a strong close under view up. Usually I like to look for body or candles with giant bodies that close under, and clearly this is not a giant body, so I would not have. That is not confirmation. We see it bounce off here, and then again we see it bounce off again, but it doesn't close under. And then we see a nice bounce from 327.50 to 329.50, nice 2-point move. And then again later in the day we see 2 more bounces off view up, and that just shows you how important this is. Like, the prices react to view up so much. And I'm gonna say one thing: if you guys start to learn ticker personalities, you will realize some stocks, like I know there's like some penny stocks that do not care about view up at all. Like if we look at like SONM, you can tell like this does not care about view up. It just goes in and out of it. Doesn't really react to it too much. So the more you learn your tickers, the better you'll realize it start to react to view up. And tickers that I like and I see react to view up the most is probably SPY. I'll go over SPY in another video, but SPY is very important. SPY is literally like the main ticker I watch because it tells what the rest of the market is doing. So I like playing options SPY. Again, I'll go on options in another video. But that is, I'll show you guys one more example of view up. So mRNA, as you can see, it doesn't respect it as well. It kind of goes up, goes through, but you can kind of tell. Do you see how every time it's over the view up, it has this weakness of candles? Basically, the more wicky the candle is, the more weakness it is. And every time it goes above the view up, you can tell that these candles are very wicky. So that shows weakness, and it does not hold view up, and it gets rejected later by it. So that's another thing you could have looked at. Let's look at one more, JPM. So JPM, ready? So we see it flush it open, closes above view up, retest view up, and then bounces back up again. And then we see it fall, and then we see this giant, like we see consolidate around view up, and then we see a pretty strong candle close under view up, a decent volume, and then we see another red candle, and then this retest would have been my confirmation. This wasn't enough confirmation for me just because it's not too much volume compared to earlier in the day, so I would have waited. And then we see this retest, and then this red candle definitely would have been confirmation for me. And then that was a nice 170 to 1. That was a nice 70-cent move there, so that would have been a lot in options. And then we see it go retest this view up, gets rejected right away, and then it close over, shows that it goes over. And do you see how, like, say you wanted to take a call over this play? See how you know how I say wait till the 5-minute candle closes? Well, basically, if you waited till this closes, you would probably miss the move. So in this case, you maybe want to check the 3-minute chart, and maybe you could have played waited till the 3-minute close. So as soon as the 3-minute close, you get in at 170.40, and then you had a nice 60-cent move or 70-cent move right there. So it depends on your preference. Just experiment using the 5 and 3-minute time charts. I personally use the 5 just to be safer. But that is that. I hope you guys experiment with view up. If I could tell you you only use one indicator, it'd definitely be this. I really like using view up a lot. But other than that, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to tell your friends to check out my videos if they're new and have no idea what they're doing. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and that is all I got. Have a good night, guys.